Welcome to Beans and Breakdowns, a podcast dedicated to bridging the gap between specialty coffee and the heavy music community. This week, I'm joined by not one, but two guests, the guys who run Dead Skull Coffee out of the UK, Richie and Marc. Dead Skull started as a project during the pandemic downtime and has turned quickly into a high-demand coffee and subscription service in the UK, roasting some amazing coffee and also partnering with different bands to do some collaborations. So grab a fresh cup of coffee and wake the fuck up! Caffeinated crew, I'm here with Richie and Marc of Dead Skull Coffee, a UK-based coffee roaster and distributor that is doing some awesome things in the industry over there. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, it's going good. Yeah, thanks for having us on your podcast. It's much appreciated.
Awesome. I really appreciate it. I know the time difference is a bit weird, and it's about evening for you guys. It's a lovely afternoon here in Montreal for me. I'm going to start it out with, what are you guys drinking?
Well, holy shit! It's 8 o'clock now at the moment. So in the evening, so I'm having a Continental Lager beer,
and I'm having a brandy coffee.
Wow, a brandy
coffee.
Oh wow, that's pretty fancy.
nice shot of brandy and a bit of Dead Skull coffee goes down a storm.
That's beautiful. Well, that's awesome. I am having, it's a new roast that I'm trying. It's called Kaku from Rabbit Hole Roasters in Montreal. It is actually a Chinese grown coffee from the Yunnan region, which is a relatively emerging region of coffee growing, especially in the world. But it has some great flavors of like cherry, vanilla. Even the roaster describes some of the flavors as cherry cola, which is definitely kind of what I'm getting a bit. It's really good. So I would really recommend anybody who's able to get Rabbit Hole Roasters, go on the website and read about this coffee, because it's definitely a really great story. But I'm very much enjoying this Chinese coffee this afternoon. Well, cheers, whatever you're drinking. Hold it up. Let's see it.
Likewise, yeah. Greetings from the UK.
Appreciated.
Yeah, but we obviously we've got our our Dead Skull coffee, the AAA. That it's 100% Arabica and sort of meets the current demands and trends that over here in the UK like. And it's sort of rich, it's smooth, it's got a chocolate and caramel undertone to it, and it's mixed with Brazilian, Colombian Excelso, Guatemalan. I've got to be careful how I say this. Way Tenango. Mm-hmm. It's triple pick beans. So I've always had to have that written down because I can never quite pronounce it right.
Yes.
It say it's triple picked, and it's a nice sweet earthy texture, and it doesn't leave that sort of bitter aftertaste that a lot of coffees can do, and that sort of woody, smoky flavour.
Right.
It's just a really nice, smooth coffee that hits the spot, we find. I mean, it took us 3 months to... we went to several places across London, roasteries and what have you. And funnily enough, ended up finding a friend who, went to the same school I did. And, we ended up having a coffee tasting session. And we put some blends together and, here we are. And, the AAA coffee, Dead Skull, was born.
That's awesome.
It is smooth like a dolphin, isn't it?
Like a dolphin. I love that. Well, yeah, that's awesome, and I appreciate you giving the blends. Unfortunately, you guys right now don't ship to Canada. I don't know if I could have waited even to try to ship it. It would take like 3 weeks to get here. So by that point, I'd have like a small margin of tasting.
But for sure, dude. I mean, it's tricky. We're trying to. We do ship worldwide, but it costs more for the shipping than it does for the goddamn coffee. So stick with your local stuff, or jump on in and grab some Dead Skull and take a punt on it. And it might cost you another $20,
right,
but you might find your new favorite blend.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get more into some of the coffee stuff. What is your recommended, aside from Dead Skull, what are some shops that you guys recommend around the London area?
Well, I work in the West End, and I have done for many years now. And there's a great place. I work at the London Palladium, and opposite where my stage door, so to speak, is the world famous Carnaby Street. And round the corner on a side road, there's a great place called the Department of Coffee and Social Affairs. Now, they do coffees from all over the world. Yeah, you pay a little bit more for it, but at the end of the day, it's better to pay, say, £3.50 than to go to a high street chain, and I do that in quotation there.
Yes,
and basically get a cup of dishwater. It's nice flavoured coffee, and served with a smile, and and they're proper trained baristas as well, so they know what they're doing, they know where they're buying it from, and that's really important. Really important that you're spending that kind of money, you get a quality product.
Definitely. Richie, do you have any recommendations there?
Dude, I'm not a massive. I love coffee, and I've been drinking it since year dot. And anything that kind of floats my boat, I don't really have massive recommendations about specific places in London town. Sometimes go to the supermarket, get a good instant. It's going to be shit, but whatever floats your boat.
No worries.
Go to there's so many kind of hipster coffee bars that are opening up. There's we got a couple over in Croydon. There's 222 Coffee. There's
the
Ludicrous Coffee, which is like a board game cafe, but they concentrate on making really, really rich brown coffee. So there's a lot of places out there. So it's just try one in every single place. It's like listening to your favorite bands. Try one fucking song from one band,
right?
And you might find your favorite blend, or you might find your favorite rock and roll tune.
I mean, I find, especially having worked in the West End of London for almost 10 years now, is you always have that backstreet little coffee shop, and they do. You'll find. One of my favourites is it's an Ethiopian coffee in this Department of Coffee and Social Affairs, and it's got a lovely taste to it. It's nice, and it's the aroma. It's got a creamy texture to it, and there are so many. Without sounding too boring, there are so many places in central London that really care about what they sell, and that's really important. That really is important. You don't want to go to the world famous hamburger chain that does a 99p coffee, and you might as well just stay indoors and put the kettle on. Do you know what I mean? I think I'm a little bit more into coffee than Richie is. But he openly says, he's been drinking it properly since we started the Dead Skull and we did the tasting. Richie turned around and went, "Wow, I didn't know coffee could taste this good." And when you do start to explore the different regions, the different areas, and obviously beans are grown at different altitudes and different parts of the world, and you find different flavors, and you always find that one you'll go, "Bang, that's my favorite. That's my favorite."
Definitely. Like, I know it took me a while to find my favorite coffee, which I'm a single origin guy. So definitely, Natural Colombians is kind of what I've been on now, because it has a certain fruity, flavor to it that really, perks me up in the morning. But then, you can never go wrong with a washed Ethiopian. So try everything. It's just like Richie said with music. I mean, I feel like the coffee and music is so similar in that sense. Explore everything. There's no limit to what you can try and what you'll find that you enjoy.
There's no such thing as a bad or a good band. It's like a good song is a good song is a good song.
Exactly.
Good coffee is a good coffee is a good coffee. It doesn't matter where it's made, who the fuck makes it. Sorry for my language, man. No. Once you find it, you're like, holy smoke, this is the one. This is cool. I'll take this for the next couple of years, and then you explore a little bit more. You might you might find yourself getting into first off Metallica or whatever, and then it's like, holy shit! Now I found Anthrax. Now I found Testament. Now I found
going backwards.
Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, whatever the hell it is.
Creator.
Yeah, a good song is a good song is a good song.
But I think Richie's analogy is, I've just been sitting here listening to this and thinking, it's when I find new coffee places, and it started for me and my missus when we went away on holiday to different parts of England, and we discovered different coffee bars, coffee shops, and you find yourself, these places sell the coffee bags of what you can drink in their shop. And it's almost like walking into a record store and going, you can picture flicking through the vinyl and just going, oh, this looks nice. The label looks good. It's got the information on it. And, you get comparisons to other types of coffee. And it's the same way you would pick a band and go similar to this. And like Richie just covered that, similar to that. And you take a punt and you give it a go. And, that's all we wanted with ours. We've only got a couple of blends ourselves at the moment. We've got the one that we launched, and then we've just done the collab with we'll probably talk about that a bit later. You've got to be very careful when you're picking your coffees, because you don't want to oversaturate the market. You don't want people to go, oh, not another coffee. Oh, is it like the last one? Is it, what are they bringing out now? Because there are so many. You walk into a supermarket in the UK, and it's just wall to wall different blends. And it's personal taste, it's personal preference. And again, it comes back to the album thing. Something catches your eye, you get up, have a look at it, and go, yeah, I'll give that a shot.
Definitely. So I kind of want to know. You said that Dead Skull came as like an idea during the lockdown with COVID in the past year and a half. What was the introduction from your background to where you are, in the coffee industry now?
Well, we are literally, barely a year into the coffee industry as such, and we're just babies at it. We're just small fries, but. For myself, I've worked in the entertainment industry for 30 years.
Right.
And, I was sitting there in lockdown, and it was, I got to the point, obviously, no shows were happening. The theatre industry was dead over here, like most industries worldwide through the pandemic. And I just suddenly sat there and went, I want to do something different, but I want to do something that is relevant. I want to bring a bit of my past, a bit of my career into something. And I sat down and doodled the skull idea and come up with the name. And when we were allowed to sort of meet again, I bumped into Richie and said, oh, I'm thinking of doing this coffee. Would you be, because obviously Richie owns a tattoo studio, we'll probably tell you about that in a minute. And I said, well, how about, I sort of develop a coffee that you can serve to your customers, etc. And he looked at the idea that I had and said, oh, I don't want to sort of mix my business with the coffee, but I really like your image and logo. So let's go with that. And we got talking, and it went all the way up until like Christmas last year, didn't it? And then all of a sudden we went, let's give it a go, and all of a sudden, we got the imaging, we went and tasted the coffee, which was quite exciting.
I was hungover to fuck, man. I'm part of I'm the 50% of the business that's the badass motherfucker just drunk on the side, drinking coffee in the morning to go like, hell, it's got to get me through the day, man. So when we, I don't want to make it boring for your fucking your listeners. They're cool, badass guys. So we ended up going for tasting
5 or 6 different coffees.
We were buzzing like motherfuckers, man.
we walked out of the roastery, and we were like something from The Walking Dead. Our eyes were popping out of our heads, and we were like, that was a really good tasting session. I think we could do something with this. And then we got back to HQ, and once we'd sort of come down from the caffeine buzz, we went, what was your favourite? And we picked the one that we liked.
Yeah, we were both like totally solid on it. We were like, the first one was the most amazing one, which of course it's going to be because that's the first one we fucking have, right?
Yeah.
And then we tried a bunch more. Then we tried the first one again, and we're like, yeah, that's the bad boy. That's the one that's the one that's going in the bags. And it's like a small family-run business, the grocery that we work with, and they're super close as well. They're like 20 minutes away from us. Mm-hmm. And we want to keep it small and rock and roll and intimate and cool, and just we don't want to be wankers that are just like going, we'll take any goddamn coffee and just sell that shit. We want it to be really, really good. So I swear by the shit. It's really, really good.
That is a pretty good analogy, Richard.
Yeah. Sorry for my language.
Don't be a fucking wanker.
Yeah. So I mean, in a nutshell, with sort of designing the bag and everything, it was, every single day I was going to work and like being given a backstage pass and, slapped on you or a laminate around your neck. And that's where I come up with the idea. And I think I went through about 5 or 6 different designs until we found the right one. Mm-hmm. And, we just literally just printed a version of it out on a bit of sticky paper, stuck it to a coffee bag and went, yeah. And then we pierced a hole through it and I put a lanyard through it.
Yeah.
And bear with me, I'm just going to go and grab one because I mean, only you'll see it, your viewers won't. But
oh shit! You want me to keep talking? Fucking hell, that's going to be a trick.
So we have to address an elephant in the room. I'm talking to a couple of dudes from the UK. Tea versus coffee. What is the deal? So is the coffee culture in the UK, is it still kind of on the up and up, or is it just tea everywhere and you're lucky to find a coffee drinker?
It's changed over the last, I'd say probably 10 years or so. I think since kind of hipster culture came in. I mean, before everyone had a nice moustache or, like yourself, an excellent beard.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Coffee was just goddamn Nescafe in the morning, or Kenko, and you just, oh crikey, it was just something to give you a kick in the nuts,
Right.
I mean, in the last year alone, the UK, well, I'm going on, figures from pre-COVID, 370 million pounds a year is spent alone on artisan coffee in the UK.
So that's like $500 million, or Canadian dollars. That's
that's $500,000 or so.
600 billion Canadian dollars.
And the thing is, though, I'm sure many of your listeners have come over to the UK and visited London and the old traditional London pub. But pubs close very quickly in this country at the moment. Unless
coffee shops.
Coffee shops are replacing pubs.
Wow.
It has become the integral place to meet people, to link into the internet, to get your phone out and say, oh, I'm here. And, it's... I'm
not happy about that.
Cracking a beer open.
Well,
on a coffee show, really.
I'm happy about the coffee replacing the beer, but I kind of, I want 50% coffee, I want 50% beer, and
but you say 17.7 billion pounds in this country is contributed to the coffee industry.
That's insane.
And I was looking the other day at what people enjoy drinking in the UK, and over here, especially in lockdown, where you couldn't go to artisan coffee, certain products weren't available, but TikTok started off this thing with this Dalgona coffee.
Right.
And it's literally instant coffee and whipped cream, and people making videos and having little moustaches with a little backing track to it, and that alone has all it is instant coffee, sugar, water,
Yeah.
a milk, and sorry, that's not coffee.
No.
I
tried it though. I did try it.
How is it, dude?
It's horrible.
You're going to tell us that it's what?
It's horrible.
Oh, Dalgona coffee, it just tastes like sugar with like the most burnt coffee you've ever tasted.
Well, you might as well have it in a plastic cup and like a little wooden spoon and eat it like an ice cream.
It's just sugar.
I wouldn't give it the time of day. I mean, basically, that's coffee for people that don't like coffee.
You're right. It's a Starbucks thing. It's like the same thing as the unicorn frappuccino kind of deal.
Yeah. Give me a fucking frappuccino, cappuccino, whatever the fuck.
But no, I mean, and like coming back to the UK, it's just, I think we covered this earlier. There's so many high street chains in this country. Worldwide coffee. We won't mention brands, but at the end of the day, yes, you can go in and you can buy, your £1 coffee, and have a mouthful of dishwater.
I believe it's called a muck coffee.
Oh, you went there. But it's like I said earlier, people on a rush, whizzing to work, doing whatever, they'll pop in, I fancy a coffee. They get their coffee, they go. But people that do like coffee will take a little bit more care and attention to it, and they will buy, products from other companies and, sit and take care and attention to making it. They will have the proper barista stations in their house. They will have the pod machines. They will know how they want to drink it. And that's not knocking the high street people. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people who come back to beer in this country. Craft beer is huge over here.
Mm-hmm.
And people know what they want to drink. And that brings me on to, we brought out our own craft beer as well.
Yep,
that
the Dead
fucking
Skull
worked
Stout.
well.
Dead Skull Stout.
Yeah, man.
That was badass. That was a local company that came to us. They're a local brewery. Been friends with them for quite a while with the tattoo studio that I own, and we like hung out a while and had some good nights,
crazy
wild
times.
nights, and they were like, man, maybe we should do some collab on this coffee and stout, and I'm like, I'm not a big fan of Guinness. I love coffee, but holy shit! Okay, let's give it a shot. So we launched it
just 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, and it's pretty much sold out now.
That's sick.
And they had the massive fucking stations that were like, I don't know, either 1,000 or 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000 liters. I have no idea.
No.
But they were like, yeah, cool. We're just gonna whack that out. And the response has been insane. It's been incredible. And so I'm like, oh, holy shit, maybe we should do this again. And they're like, yeah, we're fucking running out. We need we need some more coffee stout. And we didn't start off being a beer company. We didn't start off being we were just like a couple of badass rock and rollers. And we're like, let's do a coffee thing. And then we get all these other like bands coming in and going, we want to do a coffee with you guys. Other bands coming in, we want to do a coffee with you guys. We've had radio with like all sorts of people coming in and going, holy shit, you guys have got it. This is how it works.
But the thing is, though, I just want to add to that. We are, believe it or not, very humble. We're very grateful.
Right.
I'm not humble, man. I'm like, fuck this shit.
No, but on a serious note, it's really nice to see, our friends over here in the UK who, so many bands bring out a beer and a spirit, like I said earlier, and it's so nice that it just feels a little bit. It's different, and
we want to make it good for ourselves. We want to make it good for the punters. We want to make it good for the fucking every single person. Not being a fucking guru about it. But just be like, it has to be a win-win-win situation for everyone. Right. So, the company has to do well. The drinker has to drink it and go, fuck me, that's an awesome cup of coffee. and then they can spread it on to their friends, and their friends are like, oh, holy shit, this is really, really good, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, always about the win-win-win shit.
Exactly. So on the same collaborations, you know, in working with bands, you guys just released the Thunder collaboration, the Thunder blend.
We did, yeah.
Do you know those guys over in Montreal?
No, so I did have to look it up because I'm not familiar with it, but I definitely like, I'm all about doing collaborations with people, and any kind of signature coffee is a great idea in my opinion. So kind of how does that work with the branding, the tasting? How involved is the band with you guys?
Well, I tell you what, we were, you know, I just used the word a few minutes ago about being humbled. Now, I remember back in 1990.
How old are you, Mark? Come on.
Listening to what used to be the Monsters of Rock Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Now at Donington Park, and it's now the Download Festival over here.
Yes.
And anyway, cut long story short, Thunder opened for a lineup that was at the time Whitesnake headlined, Aerosmith was second on the bill, with Choir Boys, Poison, but Thunder came on and they absolutely blew the place apart. And I was instantly, as soon as I saw them, heard them, I was like, I'm hooked. And here we are, 31 years later, and I've been to every show, I bought every album, and the weird thing was we were launching Dead Skull Coffee in March this year, or just getting ready to do it, and Thunder were bringing out their 13th studio album. So I thought, as a fan, and having met them a couple of times before, we would sort of go, oh, hey, you know, would you like to do a little, you know, like...
Well, I think the thing that you did was that you said, can you sign a poster or a CD?
It was literally to sign a poster or a CD, and their management said, send us some coffee, some beans and some ground. So we sent them the full Dead Skull package.
Right.
And it came back, so we really like this. But you know, could you do something a little bit different? You know, that isn't your backstage pass bag that we talked about earlier. And so we went back to the drawing board, went back to our roaster, and said, this is what they're after. And through a few sort of, you know, the band themselves tasted it and went, this is the one we want. And we designed the bag, or my stepson designed the bag, and
it was my stepson that designed the bag.
And it was literally a, I don't know, it all seems like such a sort of,
I think when they came back to us and they were like, fuck me, this coffee's cool, we love it. Would you be interested in doing a coffee with us? And we're like, holy shit, you know, this
really? Do you really? And you know, with a few conversations with the band and management, it took 6 months to sort of get it right, because at the end of the day, you know, it's their name on the bag. You know, we provide the coffee product, and you know, we've sort of launched for the fans, and you know, representing the band, which is really important, because you know, every time that band step on stage, they give 100%, and we wanted to do something on the coffee side of stuff that give them, you know, something they can go, yes, this is, you know, this is it. You know?
Yeah, they're proud of it, and I fucking love that.
You know, and they are one of, they're probably one of the nicest bands we've ever
amazing, man.
Really, I mean, incredible live, you know. And
their next show is at Wembley Arena, and they've sold it out.
Yeah,
and it's like, holy shit, you know, we didn't think that we would get this kind of name on our kind of coffee bags, and we're like, well, let's give it a shot, you know.
It was a bit of a sort of like fangirly dream come true, really. It was we didn't expect the response we got from the band, to sort of go, yeah, let's do something. And it's been, it's been fantastic. And when it launched, I mean, we were literally almost 24 hours packing, just so, because we do like a coat, because we come up with this idea, we put it to them that we do their iconic album coaster.
Mm-hmm.
And now they want to do like a travel mug and a t-shirt, and we're working on that at the moment. So we're trying to do something that, it incorporate it's, the music is standalone. That is everything. The Thunder music is just there. But for us to sort of incorporate the coffee and, try and do something a little bit different.
Yeah, we've always been a rock and roll brand. That's the thing, we've always been. That was from the get go. It was like, we're badass rock and rollers, and we're a coffee company, makes really good coffee, but we need the rock and roll. We need it to be under the alternative umbrella.
Yeah, I mean, I love that story, because usually it's bands coming to you, but the fact that it was just you found an open door and followed through it. It's amazing.
It's kind of surreal. Words can't explain it. I'll be honest.
It is bonkers, man. I mean, who did you go? I'm pushing it back to the music thing here, buddy.
Yeah, for sure.
Like what rock and roll bands did you grow up on? Because obviously, how old are you now? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm 28. So the story of Monsters of Rock in 1990, I was not even thought of yet.
Right. Yeah. You were just a sparkle in your daddy's pants. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm more familiar with Download Fest, because that's what it is. That's what it's been since I've been born.
Dude, I played Download Fest, and it was fucking hilarious and great fun. And, it was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's got to be the one. I played there with Guns N' Roses and Metallica. That was badass. That was cool.
Well, I'll tell you what, dude. You talking about how you grew up? I was brought up Roman Catholic, mate.
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude. And I'll tell you what. I remember going to school back in 1982, and it was when.
That's not even a year.
and I remember somebody giving me a cassette of Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden.
Oh, man. That would have been thrown out by my parents immediately.
Oh, mate, I tell you what. I literally put that in my Walkman, and I got the bus home from school, and as soon as I heard Run to the Hills, I was like, oh my God. And the song Number of the Beast, actually the whole album.
It's a banger.
All of a sudden, I got into buying Kerrang, all the metal magazines at the time, and all the pull-out posters all went up on my wall, and my parents were like, what on earth? You had Eddie, then I got into Ozzy Osbourne, and I remember my grandparents coming over to stay, and they were like, oh, you got to give up your room. I remember my grandmother crying out in the middle of the night, screaming. She put the light on to get a drink of water, and there was Ozzy standing there with an axe, with a head in his hand, and my grandmother, well, who's this in my room? And my parents, I always remember saying, listen to this music, will get you nowhere. And then a few years later, I ended up going out on tour and getting into the whole scene. And if my dad said to me a few years ago and went, I get it now. It's like,
great.
Yeah, you carved a career in listening to, what you were passionate about. And, just, it will never change. It will never change. But I think it's important, the bands that myself and Richie grew up on, there's new bands up and coming. The bands we grew up on ain't going to last forever.
Right.
We've lost so many heroes in all of this, over the past few years. But, the new bands coming up are...
Definitely don't tell him your Godfather of Rock story.
No.
Definitely don't tell him that.
That is not coming. That is not happening. And, but there's so many great young bands across the world that are trying to come up. And it's different from the days where you could get an album deal. Yeah, Record Scouts went to gigs and all that. everyone can now, write an album in their bedroom.
Yeah.
And it's important to support these acts, and that's what Dead Skull Coffee does as well. We try and do a band of the week, and tomorrow we're doing a great band from Glasgow called Mason Hill, who are part of, back in the early 80s, you had the new wave of new wave of heavy metal.
Yeah.
But now it's the new wave of classic rock. And these guys got onto the album. They're doing like a 24-date mammoth tour of the UK, especially after the pandemic. And they're selling out. And, they're a great bunch of guys. We've got massive wagons over here who are just, if you're into that classic rock thing, check them out. They're awesome. But it's important to support. And I think in a way, what we do with the coffee, we can't open a venue, we can't put on bands, but with the coffee, the bands come to us or we go to the bands, and we try and do something to try and promote the scene and do what we can to help them, and they do what they can to help us. And I think that's really important.
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely believe in using any kind of platform you can to support the people that you believe in. Speaking about supporting, people that we believe in, who are you guys currently listening to?
Shall I give you my top 3 right now?
I want a top 3 from both of y'all. So.
Oh, okay. My top 3 right at the moment, and it's going to be tame. It's going to be super tame.
Okay.
So last 3 bands that I've been listening to that are on my death deck is, do you know a band called Social Distortion?
Yes, of course.
There's a band called Jellyfish.
I don't know them.
Okay, look for them. They only ever did 2 albums. The most beautiful shit that you will ever hear in your life. It ain't crazy heavy.
Okay.
I'm just doing my 2 now. Mark, you've got your 2, and then I'll come back for.
No, you got 3, mate. You got.
He wants to give a finale. He's going to give a dramatic finale.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just go for a regular one there. Backyard Babies from Sweden.
Backyard Babies.
Backyard Babies from Sweden.
I'm gonna have to look all these. I know Social Distortion. Well, I thought I did, but I'll have to check out Jellyfish and Backyard Babies.
Jellyfish are gonna break your heart and break your nose at the same time, man.
That's cool.
It's, they're incredible. Backyard Babies, like sleazy rock and roll band. So check them out if you're into your kind of a lot of punk stuff, but also a lot of sleaze stuff, which is kind of shit that I grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of my kind of top 3 all the time. So check them out. Mark,
cool.
Go.
Well, I mentioned them earlier. Mason Hill.
Yep.
Who are currently, as I said, on this massive UK tour across the circuit. You've got Massive Wagons, who have promoted our coffee as well.
They're getting big. They're going to be massive.
They are going to be massive wagons. Yeah. And I saw a thing on Instagram the other day where Massive Wagons were playing a venue, and somebody altered their dressing room door and actually put Massive Wankers. And I commented, I said, I've seen worse. But no, I mean, I've got to mention, Thunder. I mean, they are your viewers won't see it, but
it's sick.
Our coffee, and big up to Thunder. They've been so supportive, and but I could go on and on. It's like the new Iron Maiden release. I grew up on Judas Priest, Sabbath. Just so many different bands. But at the moment, I think the main thing is to bring up the new boys, and that's really important. That's really important. To support a band that maybe in 5-6 years' time will be headlining a major festival is it's great for them.
Yeah,
and if we played a little part in going, we gave them a bag of coffee and and a t-shirt. they won't forget that, and we won't forget them, and that's so important. And I'll tell you what, mate, we've made a really good friend tonight, and we seriously, it doesn't matter about the time of day, the time difference, but it's people like us that keep, things ticking along,
right?
Just to try and bring a bit of joy to people's lives, and we've waffled about coffee, rock and roll.
How we doing? Are we winding this shit up, or are we?
We are. I have one last question that I have to ask.
Oh,
yeah, you guys, y'all are on the chopping block. No, I'm just kidding. It's super easy. Well, it should be easy. What is your favorite city for beans and breakdowns?
Thanks very much for talking to us.
And it can't be London. No, I'm just kidding. It can be London if you want.
I went to an amazing coffee bar back in the day in New York. I can't remember the name of it now. It probably doesn't even exist. But I tell you what, sitting there sharing stories with people who were into old school boxing, rock and roll music. It was a really eclectic coffee shop, stroke bar. And if I could remember the name of it, I would, share it. But I just can't. I just can't remember it.
Electric Banana. Don't look for it now. It's not bad.
It's deemed the Electric Banana.
Yeah, no, it's I've not been abroad for many, many years.
So New York for you, Mark.
Yeah.
Coffee for myself. Holy shit! Another country or another city. Jesus.
Whatever you want. It can be London if you want.
Oh, that's not fair.
I said.
I think.
But you have to be borough specific.
Dude, I think I'm going to go for a district in London. I think Shoreditch is probably the one because it's that's when the hipster thing really, really hit up massively about 6 or 7 years ago. And they were the ones that actually brought decent coffee to... I was going to say decent people, but...
You've been talking to us. We're not decent. We're typically British.
And
you think I am? You think I'm a decent person?
So I think Shoreditch for as an area in London. If you want to come over to the UK and hang out, Shoreditch is always good. You've got loads of cool hipster coffee bars, loads of cool rock and roll joints as well. So that's probably it for me. Otherwise, I'd just go for Japan and just go for Enoshima. Enoshima in Japan is just fucking insane. It's crazy. I love it. I used to, when I was over there last, I would have a coffee on the beach and see the surfers fucking doing their thing, watching over the mountains and crazy shit. But yeah, I'd go for London, Shoreditch for sure.
And to be honest with you, you've got so many places. Like any of your listeners who are going to come over here, hit us up on Instagram. We'll come and give you a guided tour. You've got Islington, you've got Camden is insane. For the music venues, for coffee, for drinking. You've got Carnaby Street, which is iconic. A little bit more trendy now than back in the day when we grew up, where you used to go and get your denim jacket patches and your cowboy boots and your stirrups and all that.
I'm still wearing it.
Yeah, we're still wearing it, man. But,
Mark, Richie, Dead Skull Coffee, I really appreciate you guys for hanging out with me on a Saturday night in the UK, talking about coffee and rock and all kinds of shit. Dude, I really enjoyed it.
It's been an absolute pleasure, mate, and don't give up on what you believe in. And do you know what? Thank you to all your listeners for putting up with us for the past, however you edit it. It's been an absolute pleasure, and respect to all you guys. And it's been absolutely awesome. We've got all the time in the world for you guys, and hit us up. We're friendly guys, and we will entertain as much as we can, because that's what we're all about.
Definitely. Check out the links that I post in the episode, guys, to find Dead Skull Coffee and everything we've talked about in the episode. You guys have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, my friend. Cheers, Grayson. Take care, buddy.
Cheers. Thanks for listening to this episode of Beans and Breakdowns. I want to say a huge thanks to Richie and Mark for coming on and talking to me so late on a Saturday evening in London time. It was great to be able to chat with them and share some coffee/beers and other libations with them, and just hear about how Dead Skull has been. If you'd like to learn more about Dead Skull Coffee, you can find them on the web at deadskullcoffee.co.uk or find them on Instagram at Dead Skull Coffee. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. You can also find out more about us on the web at beansandbreakdowns.com or on Instagram at beansandbreakdowns. Until next week, make sure to stay caffeinated and wake the fuck up.